Okay, so hi guys. Today I'm going to be talking about contractual obligations. These obligations normally rise after establishing the nature of the relationship of the contract. So, yeah. So, contractual obligations are the duties that arise in terms of a contract, whereby both the employer and the employee agree what duties are going to arise in terms of this contract. Example, it would be, when you go to Indeed and you go apply for a job, it tells you that we're looking for this position, to fill this position, and then they give you specifically what are the duties are in terms of that position. And then when you go for an interview, they show you the same thing that you applied for if you pass all the steps of the interview process and stuff. And then they'll show you the contract where they specifically tailor down the specific duties that you will be doing in terms of that particular position that you'll be doing. And yeah, when will this obligation arise? Now I'm going to expand on that. This obligation arises immediately after establishing the nature of the relationship, whereby they tell you whether you are hired as an agent, you are hired as an independent contractor, or you are directly the employee of the company. Then they start there, and when they arise now, they're going to explain when and where you're going to start. Legal obligation is also known as a legal duty, and it is created through the contract, and it requires that a person performs to a particular standard, whether in or out of the office. Here, it means that whether you are not on the premises of that company or particular place you work for, you are required to uphold a certain standard. So these are the implications of what you are doing when you enter into a contract to be an employee for someone, or you are saying that you're going to be an independent contractor for a particular business advertising their brand. So you are agreeing that you're gonna at all times uphold the standard of the quality that they are producing. So, ha le motho o hiriwe plekeng e itseng, hence it's not okay for you guys to, when you're speaking to the clientele, to behave anyhow, either by chewing chappies, lona the bank tellers. Chappies, yeah, nyonsa guys. So you're representing the particular brand. It may be Standard Bank or any other brand, Hampi. Or you come to work with a babalas day, you've got a hangover, and then you feel like this client is working on my nerves. And then you're like, Ausi, ke kopa o emanyane. Get our attend after a minute. That's not right. Because now you're not dealing with you. We know you got a problem, but now you are dealing with Chaletam Tomong, which is Chaldea company. Now you're not yourself, you're not an individual. You lose your individuality in when you are working for a particular brand. So at all times you must present the utmost best brand, because Luena how to Chalta have most and Chalta Filitin. So you must always know that it's important to protect the image of the particular company you're working for. Doesn't matter. And also the other thing, it's not the fault of the other person that you are not happy about something. So yeah, that's the second part, and I'll be moving on to the third part. Number three, I'm going to elaborate and point out the way how the companies and you as an individual can seek satisfaction in the law for the other party not upholding their legal obligation or legal duty. Since we as humans have different standards of upholding good faith, and contracts depend on good faith, each party, it is expected that either party will act like an adult and perform the particular duty that they are supposed to perform. It's uncodified law, which means it's not written anywhere how a contract is governed, but it's governed by common law. So it expects good faith from a person. So how motho sebeletsa pleke e itseng, they expect you to be there on time, they expect you to look presentable, they expect you not to back check the client, but well, sometimes it's inevitable, but you will try to back check the client respectfully, because there are ways to back check the client respectfully without being disrespectful. And also under the way now where you uphold standards, in order to uphold these standards, there will arise things like termination of contracts. That's where you get fired for maybe, oh, let me do this example. It's a very cute example. DJ Fresh back then got fired for cussing on the radio, but the listener was rude anyways, but he got fired for that, so he didn't uphold the standards of that particular radio station. So that can be that, and then you as the employee can cause strikes and insubord, which means you disrespect the boss and stuff like that. Go slow. Not really you disrespect the boss, but how you go slow, you're actually disrespecting the boss, but without doing the zugu zugu and the rabo, and then the striking. But you know the procedure for striking is a topic for another day. And then in very rare cases, but it's not really rare, they can go the litigation way. It's either you can go small claims if you are an independent contractor, or the labor court if you have a union. That's where the union and stuff and the wara wara after the strikes now. That's in extreme and very rare cases. Yeah. We can go, my friend. So now I want to explain the different, I guess, positions that people get hired for in a company. So I'm going to start with an agent. So when you are hired as an agent, you are hired to perform specific services in the company or for the company. So you can be hired as an agent, and you are part of the company, but you are also a separate part of the company. So let me do like this. In a company, there'll be a person who's hired on an agency contract. There'll be a person who's hired as a straight employee, and then there'll be an independent contractors. All of these people are hired by a specific company, but they are not necessarily hired in the same way. So your deals are not the same. So let me see what I wrote about. Should I continue? When you are hired as an agent, you won't receive any benefits in terms of that company. It will depend on the particular contract in which you signed to be an agent for that particular company. But most of the time, anyone under a contract of agency doesn't get any benefits in terms of the pension, the UIF and stuff. That is your responsibility to ensure that you've got yourself covered in terms of the pension fund and all the other contributions. And it means that you are some sort of deniable asset in a way, if I can put it that way. You are part of the company, but you are not. It's like you are providing that particular service on behalf of the company. It's not as if you are in the company. You have a separate contract for them. Like the other time with my boyfriend, he was doing cane weaving, like these chairs. He got a contract of agency, whereby they told him that they're going to provide him with a station to work on, and they're going to provide him with tools to which he's going to rent, and for that they're going to give him a piece of what he's making. And I'll make another example with my friend who was working at one of these pamphlet places. I don't know what is it called now in the term that they use, but it's whereby you go stand outside and advertise all these companies. It was funeral policy companies, where that particular company was going to advertise those funeral policy companies and target market the clients on the street. You'll find them normally standing at these big shops, maybe ShopRite, maybe Pick and Pay, or all of that. Outside of there, those people are agents. They have absolutely no protection in terms of the contract that they made with that company that they're working for. And at the end of the day, whatever happens, they are probably going to walk away without actually getting what they deserve. They'll testify to this. Yeah. And then I'll move on to the independent contractors. So I'm moving on to an independent contractor. An independent contractor is a person, not on behalf of anyone, but is providing their service. It's like a legal paralegal, so they can provide that service for maybe legal wise or legal aid. You understand? So I'll be considered an independent contractor. I won't fall under anyone. I'll be working the business placing that particular person, but I won't be providing that service on behalf of that person. So contractor rona, it will be slightly different from the contractor agency, but it will be very similar at the same time, which means the company is paying me to come provide the services tsaka moli. You understand? So it's something like that. So in the eyes of the taxmen, they I'll be seen as a smaller business. You understand? So hence, most likely we find these people who are independent, who are considered independent contractors, really in trouble with the taxmen in terms of tax evasion or avoidance. It's because some of them are not aware that they are actually considered a smaller business in front of the taxman's eyes. So yeah, on that I will elaborate now. So typical examples of people who are normally hired under independent contractors or under a contract of agency are doctors, lawyers, dentists, veterinarians, and our performing artists like musicians and actors. Yeah, those are the people who are normally guilty of tax evasion or tax avoidance, but normally it's caused by some of them. Some, they are not really aware that actually they are considered as smaller businesses in terms of the taxman, and yeah, because batubale bathola like the 200,000 for a gig, so it makes sense why the taxman will see them as a small business. Yeah. And that is it for this episode. This is not legal advice, it's just for entertainment and educational purposes, because we are teaching each other, we are here to learn. If you have anything to say, just drop a comment and like my video, please.